So guys, some of you may not know this, but I also make jewelry. And so one of the things that has been really hard this year with COVID is that everybody's at home. So I don't have a whole lot of time just to myself to make jewelry. So today, I decided as soon as Jack went down for his nap, Owen is heading to a friend's house, Corey just decided to lie down and have a little rest, I'm gonna make some jewelry. Today's gonna be a little different than my normal, I guess, tutorial style of vlog. Today I am just going to create. So you get to come along for the design process. You'll get to see how I piece together and come up with designs, and then I'll give you some tips on how to actually build the necklaces and put them together and all of that. So it's gonna be very relaxing. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the vlog. Okay, so here is my setup. I have all these drawers that normally are in my little cabinet in there, but I decided to come into my den, so you'll see the light. Sorry, I know it's not a very beautiful view, but I wanted to show you this first. So I use my little bead design boards, and then I have a bracelet design board, and then these kind of like little felt pieces. These are really great so that your beads don't roll all over the place. And I got an order in for some beads. It's like Christmas. I'm just gonna sort through these really quickly, and that way I can kind of see. I have to have everything laid out in front of me. I can't stand to start designing without like being able to see everything. It drives me crazy. So I'll give you a quick tour of my beads. So I've got my African beads. This is all the recycled glass, all those fun things, and I've shown those in another video when I did my my bracelet video, my elastic bracelet video, so I'll link that above so you can see. And then I have some semi-precious stone beads. These are more African beads. And then over here, I've got just kind of a random mix of metals and vintage pieces. And then here is my findings drawer. This is where all of my jump rings and ear wires and all that kind of fun stuff is. It's also where I keep my little custom labels, which are so cute. Look how cute, dear Gigi. It's kind of hard to see. And then I got a bunch of new wood beads. Some of these are kind of a bleached wood, some of them are natural. So then these beads are bone. And I think these are so cute. Look at these guys I got. Little fish. They're so cute. And then I have some metals. I love these little metals. So these I've got to put away, and then I'm gonna start designing. I got these new bleached beads. They're kind of this, I shouldn't say bleached, they're really almost like a whitewash. And I wanted to use some of these for bracelets because I think, you know, it's summertime. I think they'll be cute. So I'm gonna get my bracelet board. I'm just gonna put together a couple of these. I'm not gonna actually put these completely together right now because I've done a whole video on how to make elastic bracelets. I'm just gonna design a couple of different looks, and then I'll put them together later so you guys aren't just stuck watching the same thing over and again. I love this little well in here because I just fill it up with some beads so the beads don't go everywhere. And sometimes the little wells that are around it, I'll add some beads in there to pick through. Kind of like the idea of doing like a two-toned, just white. So we're gonna play around with that and see how it looks. I love these beads. So these little glass beads right here, the recycled glass beads, they remind me of Cheerios. But I love them. All right, and then let's go with some of the natural wood. And we'll just kind of see how these all look together. It might be garbage. That's the beauty of this, is that we get to figure it out. Now, if you are a patron of mine, and if you are on the jewelry level, which I think is like tier 5 or something like that, you will get a piece of jewelry sent to you every month. Just kind of crazy. It's almost like a subscription box for jewelry. It'll be really fun if you're wanting to add some new pieces to your collection. I'm gonna take my little Cheerio pieces and I think I'm gonna just put them on either side of one of the natural beads. Just kind of see what that looks like. So normally what I'll do with a bracelet when I'm designing a look, I'll pick my pattern and then just continue to repeat it all around. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Another nice thing about the jewelry Patreon level is that you get to tell me, you know, if you have a preference for, you know, gold tones or silver tones. You can tell me if your wrist is small, medium, large, or extra large. So it's not like you're just gonna get something that you're not gonna be able to wear. Also, you can tell me if you have any issues with metals, because I know a lot of people have some sensitivity to metals. So you can kind of share that information with me also. So I don't want that there. Let's do, I'm gonna get these, oh, here's a thicker one. I need a thicker Cheerio. So what I'm gonna do is put my thick Cheerios in here. And that little bead actually has my logo on it. So you'll see my little Dear Gigi design on there. And that Cheerios turned the wrong way. There we go. Okay. I love that white with the natural wood. So, Bracelet Design 1. I know it's a little distracting with all the beads around it, but I like this one, so I know that I can repeat this and I can do a few of these. I don't ever like to make, I don't mass produce jewelry, so I don't ever like to make just a ton. I honestly buy enough for maybe 6 of one design, maybe 8, and then that's it. So you're definitely not gonna have to worry about running into a bunch of people wearing the exact same thing as you, which is nice. All right, so I'm gonna move this to the side and then I'm gonna get started on a necklace that would coordinate with this. Okay, so here are the beads that I'm gonna work with, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull these back. Or actually I'll pull them to the side. Okay, so I'm gonna use my little bead design board, which I apologize, it's a little grimy. It's because I use it a lot. And I'm gonna start with the bottom of the necklace. Okay, here's what I have so far. And I don't think I wanna make this like a super long necklace. But what I'll do is, and what's really nice about the boards is, see, it has this little line over here, so you've got numbers. So there's 9 over here. And so I just need to make sure that I continue my pattern to the 9 on the other side. They like to keep things simple for us. Okay, So we are nicely symmetrical, which makes me very happy. And so what I like to do is the last little bit that goes right at the clasp, I like to add little bitty beads going that way, and just to kind of simplify it. So for this necklace, what I'm actually gonna do is line up all these little tubes. So now this design is done, and I'm actually gonna show you guys how to string this up because I haven't done a video about that yet. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. Move this out of the way, and I'm gonna get my little felt piece. This is gonna be where I'll start to string everything up. And I apologize if today's vlog is putting everyone to sleep. I have to be quiet for my household, so maybe this can be for all of you who are insomniacs. Just put on this video every night and it can just lull you to sleep. What I'm gonna be using for stringing this necklace is a 49 strand nylon coated stainless steel micro wire. And I'll link everything, like always, in the description below. So if any of you are wanting to know, like where I get all of my tools and all that kind of stuff, I'll share all that information with you. Because I know, especially if you're just starting out, people want to know. And I've had a couple of people ask me, they keep saying, you keep mentioning a description below. If you are not familiar with that, there's gonna be a little arrow on the side and you can push on it and it'll show you, it's kind of like a little drop down and it'll show you more information. That's where I put links to everything, all that fun stuff. So I'm gonna measure this out, and all I'm doing is kind of laying it next to my necklace and giving myself plenty of working room. I want, for me, I like to have about 4 inches on either side of the length of my necklace, because it's kind of a pain when you're trying to attach all the little pieces to the end. The very first thing that I like to do is I'm gonna grab a wire guard. That's what this little guy is right here. Ah, they're tiny. Here we go. That is a wire guard. And what you do is you put this around the wire. Your wire goes through those 2 tiny little holes, and that's gonna keep your wire from fraying. And then I need a little wire crimp, which is like this little tube. See that? And I'm gonna need some jump rings. And again, I will link all the supplies, where I get them and what I like. And then I need, nope, that's not the clasp I want. I'm gonna do a lobster clasp. And I will need, oh, I'm on my cell phone now, so it's easier to see. Dear Gigi, my little tag. So that'll go in there. I'm gonna grab a couple more of these. And I'll go ahead and get because you're actually gonna need 2 wire guards and 2 of the crimp tubes. Because you're gonna need 1 for each end. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these little crimp beads and we're gonna stick our wire straight through that little crimp bead, okay? I'm gonna just leave that right there. And then I'm gonna grab one of my little wire guards, and I'm gonna stick this wire through one side. It's gonna look like that. Pull that, and then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna send it back down through the other side. Like that. See, it looks like this. And you pull that up, and that's your wire guard. Now I'm gonna take my little crimp, don't need that much space. I'm gonna take my little crimp bead and I'm gonna send both sides through. Now at this point, you need to be really careful that your wires don't cross. Like, see that just crossed right there? You don't want them to cross because the crimp is not gonna be as secure. So it's really important to keep them on the right sides. Now, I have two tools that I use. So for my, my crimpers, I have a large crimper and I have a small crimper. And the reason for this is I've found that my large crimper, and I don't know if it's because it's old, does not give a tight enough seal. And so the way that I do mine, let's try to keep this from getting flipped. The way that I do mine is I take my little crimper, and you'll see this is the top side of the little crimper, and you can see that it's kind of curved up. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to place this right here, okay? So there's little, you see those little holes? So I'm going to go to that bottom little section. You see when I close that, that very bottom section has like a little tooth that hangs down right there. See, it kind of looks like a little U. That's what we want, because that is going to be crimping that tube. So when I put that there in that bottom one and I press down, you see it kind of flatten right there. And so we want that to flatten. And then sometimes I'll move this up a little bit and get a nice, there we go. And so we want that to be flat like that. Now some people leave theirs flat, just like this, and that's totally fine. I, however, like to put a crimp bead around mine, and it's really hard to put it's really hard to get a bead that's gonna cover this big, bulky thing. So that's when I use my larger crimper to fold it over. And so when I do it this way, you'll see that it's gonna start to fold over onto itself, like this. So these are the little crimp beads. These go over, look, the indention's in my hand because I just picked it up and pinched it really hard. So these are gonna cover your little crimp tube. So you just chomp it like Pac-Man. It just goes around there, like that. And sometimes you have to kind of push it in there. Oops, let's sit down. Hold on, let me do this without trying to look through my camera to do this. I need to see this in real life. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put this larger one, I'll go ahead and put the crimp bead around it, and then I'll be able to slide this in a little bit easier. Okay, that one's not going in. I don't think that's open wide enough. So I'm gonna use these guys to open this crimp bead up just a little bit. So now that has a wider opening. And now I can put that into my little crimper tool. Like a little hungry Pac-Man. And then he'll go right in there. See it close up on itself. Just be careful not to press too hard or you will smush this. This just gives it a little bit of a finished look. So now this is the end of your necklace. Okay, so now what all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to thread this through. And so I'll just pick these up. And as I'm threading, I'm going to count to make sure that I've got the same amount on both sides. I have this all strung together now. This is the point when I would take the necklace, this, and hold it up to myself so I can get an idea of how long it is. Like that. I like this. And another thing that I do is with my necklaces is I always add some extra length to them so that this isn't the size that you're stuck with. Okay, so for example, this necklace right here, see how it has, I added the little chain link so that you can wear this necklace at this length, and then this just hangs down the back of your neck. Or if you want it longer, because you know, some people like them longer, some people like them shorter, you can go all the way up to here. And so that way it fits more people and you have more options, because you know, there's nothing worse than trying on a necklace and you think it's the perfect necklace for an outfit, and then you put it on and it's a weird, like it hangs weird, like it hangs right at the neckline, or it hangs too low, or it's too high. And this way you have a little more flexibility in that. So I always like to do that with my necklaces. So now what we need to do is we've finished off this end, but now what we've got to do is we've got to finish the opposite end, and then we're going to put our jump rings in and our lobster clasps and our little chain. So we'll do that now. Okay, so we're going to finish this off. You want to make sure that you see the little pokey piece. You want to make sure that he goes through all those beads so that he doesn't come out and get you. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll hang the necklace like this and let all the weight kind of hang down. I want to make sure that there's enough movement in it. If you pull this too tight, if you go really, really tight on this, your necklace is almost too rigid. So I've cut a little length of chain, and this is going to be what I use to hook my lobster clasp to. So what I'm going to do is at the very end of this, and I've cut it so that you see those little middle links, those little ones. I want one of those at each end, because one is going to be attached to this, and the other is going to be attached to my little sign. So I'm just going to take my jump ring right here, and I'm going to grab both sides of it, and so I want the split facing up, and I'm just going to twist the pliers in opposite directions. So my right hand is going to twist towards me, my left hand is going to twist away from me, and I'm just going to open up my jump ring like that. Okay? Can you see that? There we go. So I'm going to put that in here. And with this necklace, it doesn't matter which side. So if this were a necklace that had a pendant that was like the right side was on one side, I would need to make sure that I checked and had this on the correct side. But this necklace, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to just insert that little loop right here into my jump ring. And now all that I'm going to do is I am going to twist them back towards each other. Now you never pull jump rings apart this way. You always let them pass this way, because you do not want to warp them, and you will weaken them if you do that. So I'm going to twist back. I'm going to let them pass in the middle and press down just slightly. Do you hear that little click? That's what I want. I want it to click, and then they're going to be flush. And the reason that we go back one side and then the other is as we work it, it's going to harden the metal, and it's going to make it harder for this jump ring to break, which is what we want. We do not want jump rings breaking. So I'm going to do the same thing with this jump ring. open it up a little bit, put it onto my little tag, and put on this little last. There we go. Snap. Perfect. Sometimes you'll hear these called hard snap rings. But you want to be able to feel as you go around, you want to make sure that these are so tight that it's hard to find the seam. Now for this one. Open it up. On here, and I'm going to put my lobster clasp on here. And I get the swivel lobster clasp because nothing drives me crazy more than having clasps that go different directions, like that won't go in different directions because, you know, things move around. So I'm going to just attach this to this, and my necklace is done. So here's my necklace. Okay, so I just did this bracelet very quickly. Just a simple little magnesite beads, and then these little African brass rings and the little African brass bead, which I really like it. It's cute. Okay, I'll show you my next one I did. So here was the other one that I'd been working on. That two-tone white, and then I've got just the little gold Dear Gigi bead on it. I really like this. I think this would look really pretty stacked with maybe one more like this and then one with some gold. So I think I'm going to do that now. Now I could layer something like this, but I think I want this middle one. I think I want this to be a little bit more gold. So I'm going to design something that can go between these two that's got a little more gold to it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a similar pattern to this and similar colors to it, except I'm going to put in these blue beads that are similar to my little tube beads. I'm going to put my blue beads in, and then instead of these little guys, I think I'm going to use gold. And instead of the natural wood, I think I'm going to use my whitewashed. And so we'll kind of see what that looks like. I'm liking these. So I've got my blue and my golds in the middle, and then I've got my two-tone whites on the outside. These turned out pretty. So I did this little design, which I really love. I really love very simple things. So like for this is kind of reaching. That's, you know, a lot for me, even though it's not really a lot, but like this is very much kind of my aesthetic. I really like simplicity. So I'm gonna play around a little bit more with some really simple designs, and we'll see what we think of these. There's another bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to use these really large jump rings. That is a little vintage piece. Do you like it? It's very sparkly, isn't it? So we're going to open this one big time, because we've got to hook it into our fish's mouth.
Mommy? Mama?
Yes, sweetie. Oh, these are hard. These are heavy duty. Okay. right. We got one. Pretty. All right, so now that I have these large jump rings in my fish, I'm gonna use some smaller jump rings.
What's this? Whoa, Mommy. What's the Spanish?
We're gonna open that even more. It's a big jump ring in there. Here we go.
There's you.
I'm gonna hook my ear wire through my jump ring and then close it up. And there's one fish. You kind of do the same thing with this ear wire that you would with the jump ring, as far as you don't ever pull away. Don't pull the metal this way, you turn it that way. So here are my fish.
Done.
Well guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Here is what I was able to get made, which was really nice since I haven't been able to make anything in a while. But I hope you enjoyed my little studio vlog, and let me know if you would like to see more videos like this, or if there are certain things that you would like to learn as far as jewelry making goes, or really any type of art making goes. Just leave it in the comments and let me know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great afternoon.